India's contribution to the world of music has been immense. Some of the greatest musical instruments to the world of music, such as the flute, or let us say the sitar, tabla, and even shehnai and other classical instruments, have been gifted to the whole musical world by India. Not only musical instruments, India has also gifted its rich tradition of classical music to the whole world. So today's chapter deals with one of such maestros who has mastered and popularized one such Indian classical musical instrument and brought it to the stages of the whole world. So today's today's chapter is the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. This word Shehnai, correction, you must have heard a lot. This instrument is related a lot with weddings and other auspicious occasions. So Bismillah Khan's contribution to this is to bring it from the stage of used in marriage processions and other cultural functions, to be brought it to the stage and to be shown it and displayed to the whole world. So the chapter starts like this. The great Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb had banned the playing of an instrument called pungi. Now this pungi is a name for reeded noisemakers. So a reeded instrument is what is a reeded instrument? It is a long tube in which there are several holes, and when wind is blown through them, they produce sound. So these pungi was one of such reeded musical instrument, and this was banned by Aurangzeb because it did not produce a melodious sound. Now one barber, he decided to improve this music that a pungi produced. So what did he do is, he took a pipe with a hollow stem, and he made 7 holes in the body of the pipe. Now when he started playing on it by closing and opening some of the holes, like some of you might have seen how a flute is being played, melodious sounds started being produced by it. Now he played this instrument in front of the royal court, and everybody was so impressed because it looked so similar to the previous pungi instrument, but it sounded completely differently. So they decided to give it a new name. Now since this reeded instrument was first played in the court of it was first played in the Sahal chambers, or it was played in the royal court, so they gave it the name Sheh. And because it was played by a barber, and who is called a Nai in traditional Hindi, they gave it the name Nai, hence Shehnai. So that's how this musical instrument got its name from. Now the sound of Shehnai is considered auspicious. That is why without sounding this instrument, none of the auspicious occasions, none of the pujas or functions in any Hindu traditions are started. So it is considered an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. So yeah, the North Indians give it more importance than the South Indians in their weddings. And in the past, this was also a part of the Naubat, or what is called the traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts, right? So the royal courts had 9 instruments which they thought were the best, and one of them was Shehnai. Now, like I told you before, until now Shehnai was used only in temples and weddings. Now the credit of bringing this instrument to the classical stage and to the world stage belongs to the protagonist of our today's chapter, Ustad Bismillah Khan. Now a little bit about who the man was and where he started his journey from. So when he was 5, Bismillah Khan used to play gilli danda in near a small pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar, and he would go to the nearby Biharji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, and at the end of that thing he used to get a big laddu which weighed about 1.2, not 125 kg, 1.25 kg, which was given by the local Maharaja. Right. So this shows that Ustad Bismillah Khan showed signs of great talent at a very young age, and the narrator says that this thing happened around 80 years ago, and from earning 1.25 kg laddu by the Maharaja to earning the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna, this man has come very far. Bismillah was born on 21st March 1916, that is the pre-independence era, and he is from a very well-known family of musicians from Bihar. Right, he belongs from a family of musicians. Guess it runs in the blood. His grandfather Rasul Baks Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. That means that he played in his court and he was the main player, I guess, in the Bhojpur King's Court. Even his father Paigambar Baks and other of his paternal ancestors were also Shehnai players. Paternal means the people who belong from his father's sides, and they were all great Shehnai players. So it gives an idea that because he grew up among these great Shehnai players, he got the love for Shehnai and also the knack for it from his family itself. So when he was 3 years old, his mother had taken him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras. Maternal uncles is your mother's brother, or what you call your mamu, and her mother took him to Banaras or Varanasi, which is called now, and there Bismillah saw for the first time how his uncle practiced the Shehnai, and he was enraptured in the first thing itself, and soon he started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the nearby Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. Means his uncle Ali Baksh used to play the Shehnai regularly in the nearby Vishnu temple, and slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument, and he would practice his lessons on the bank of the river Ganga or in the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maiya and other places. So in these places, there's a word called haunts. Haunts means the young apprentice favorite haunts. Means the haunts is the place where he used to like to sit in solitude, and he used to practice his lessons. So the flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Yes. So because of his hours and days of his long time of sitting in solitude and practicing his Shehnai skills improved significantly, and he started inventing ragas. So ragas are these are different types of, I guess, music, and the exact definition I think you can ask your music teacher. And he forayed into several such parts of music, several such domains of music, Shehnai music, that were earlier considered impossible. So by the age of 14, he was already a master. Bismillah, at the age of 14, he went with his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. There, Ustad Fayaz Khan, he patted the young boy's back when he heard him playing the Shehnai, and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." So he had the blessing of a great Shehnai player, and when in the year 1938, when the All India Radio started in Lucknow, Bismillah got his big break. Means he got the chance to show his talent to the world, and from that day onwards, he rose to so much prominence that on 15th August 1947, when India gained independence, Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to greet the nation with his Sahnai. Even before Jawaharlal Nehru gave his famous speech of Tryst with Destiny, Bismillah Khan, he was the first one to play his melodious music for the whole nation. And there have been very memorable performances by Bismillah Khan both in India and abroad. On his first trip abroad to Afghanistan, means on the first time when he went abroad, King Zahir Shah, he was so much impressed by Bismillah's performance that he gifted him precious Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Even the film director Vijay Vatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah that he decided to name his film after the instrument, and he named it Goonj Uthi Sahnai. Right. So the film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's composition, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, it turned out to be a nationwide chart buster. Right. So his first venture into movies, his song became a chart buster and it became a huge hit. And when often people, when they are encouraged by a hit in Bollywood and they continue to pursue Bollywood, he decided that he will not move into Bollywood like others do. So he has only gone into 2 movies in the film line, because Vijay Vatt's Goonj Uthi Sahnai, and the other movie is a Kannada movie by Vikram Srinivas called Sanadhi Apanna. Right. So he admits that he cannot come to terms with the artificiality and the glamour of the film world. I suppose he does not like all the bedlam or the chaos that comes with being associated with the film world. Now, when it comes to awards and recognitions, Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in United States of America, and he even took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, which is in Canada, in Cannes, which is in France, and the Osaka Trade Fair in Japan. So other than that, he became internationally renowned when an auditorium in Tehran, which is the capital of Iran, was named after him. So the name of the auditorium was Tahar Mosiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. Other than that, he also won the biggest of the national awards like the Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan. And in the year 2001, the highest India's highest civilian award, even the Bharat Ratna, was conferred to him. And with the award resting on his chest when he received the award, and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, he said that all I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is coming to learn our music. So yeah, he has an advice to the nation, to the people of the country, to asking the parents and the people to learn our music, because this is our heritage and this is what the West is coming to us for, and if we ourselves don't know it, it will be a thing of shame. And apparently he is called fondly as Khan Saab, because he is so much fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and for him these 2 towns are the most wonderful towns in the world. And he shares an anecdote that once his student wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student even promised him that he will recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. Right? Means this student was so much impressed with Khan Saab's skills that he even promised that he will recreate the atmosphere of Banaras in USA. But Khan Saab asked him that if that student would be able to transport the river Ganga to United States, only then he will be able to only then he will come to the United States, which is not practically possible, which was his witty way of saying that, I mean, no country can match what India has, or Banaras and Dumrao, they have this appeal to him from his childhood which no other place in the world can give him. And he says that when he is in another country, he keeps yearning to see Hindustan, he wants to come back to Hindustan, and when he is in Mumbai, he wants to come back only to Banaras and in the holy Ganga, and when he is in Banaras, he wants to come back to the unique Matha of Dumrao. Dumrao is his hometown in Bihar. So there is a small excerpt from a interview by Shekhar Gupta. This video is available on YouTube, you can search for it too. So Shekhar Gupta, the interviewer, he asks Bismillah, when the partition happened, why didn't you or your family go to Pakistan, move to Pakistan? To which Bismillah Khan replies that, oh, God forbid, I mean, I cannot ever leave Banaras. I have never been to Pakistan. I just crossed the border once to say that I have been to Pakistan, and when I was there for about an hour, and I made a blunder of saying Namaskar to the Pakistanis and Salam Alaikum to the Indians. I had a good laugh. Right. So he makes a witty remark that he had said Namaskar to the Pakistanis and Salam Alaikum to the Indians. Right. This also is in a way a remark which suggests that all people are the same, and national just means nationalities. Even if nationalities are different, that does not mean the religion of humanity changes. So Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. It is obviously, in a country like India where we celebrate diversity, he is the perfect example of it. Ustad Bismillah Khan was a perfect devout Muslim, but he used to play music in the greatest and the biggest Hindu religious establishments in India. Even though he was a Muslim, he used to play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple in Banaras, which is one of the biggest temples in the country. Now sadly, the nation lost this beautiful gem in 2006 at the age of 90, because he passed away due to a prolonged illness. And the day he passed away, he was given a state funeral, and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. Right. So this person was one of the greatest persons to be born to the country of India. Not only did he bring great laurels for the country, but he also brought momentous changes to the field of music and the world of Shehnai in particular. Well, I guess this is it for today. We'll meet in another class. Thank you for watching.